Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing my June TBR. I didn't really do a TBR for May, which was good, but was also maybe a mistake. I enjoyed all the mood reading, but while I am predominantly a mood reader, I do need a little bit of structure, and I feel like I didn't have enough structure in May, so we're back to doing a TBR just to give me a little bit of a guideline for what I want to do in this month and what I want to accomplish reading wise, etc., etc. Let's start with my obligation reads. So I do 2 reading challenges. I do the Buzzword Readathon that was started by Books and Lala, and then I do the Betty Pages Challenge Your Shelf, I think is what it's called. It's on Storygraph. I will try to remember to link it down below. It is a good time. So for Buzzword Readathon, there is, every month a word or a selection of words that you need to match the title of the book that you're reading to. I feel like I said that in a weird way. And this month, can I remember what it is without looking it up? For June, it's picking a book where the title has words that repeat. And you can include is the, those connector words. But I'm going to be reading There by Tommy Orange. I've had this book since it was published in 2018, back when I was a bookseller. I bought it. I've had it. I have been so intimidated by this book, even though I have only heard good reviews. I don't think I've talked to a single person who didn't like this book, and it was even a staff rec at the bookstore I worked at the time when it came out. Like, I know it is worth my time. I've just been so intimidated, but I'm gonna read it this month. I'm not excited. I'm still intimidated. I am really nervous. I just don't know if this, how I will handle the heavy content in this book, but like I said, definitely worth my time. Worth my energy. I just need to do it. I was gonna try and do this without my phone, but I can't remember what the challenge your shelf prompt is. So the theme for the whole year for the Betty Pages reading challenge is Taylor Swift. So each month is based off of a Taylor Swift album, and then the creator, I believe the bookstore owner, she has paired a Taylor Swift song with each book choice. And this is really fun because you get a lot of options. So there's usually 2 adult titles, 2 YA, 2 middle grade, and then a few picture book selections. So you've got a ton of options. So it's a great reading challenge, but you're still mood reading. And I really love that. So the Taylor album for June is Reputation, which, I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. I appreciate her music. I enjoy her music. I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie the way I would call my twins Swifties, but Reputation is my favorite album, hands down. And from the options for this month, I'm going to read The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, and the song paired with this is Look What You Made Me Do, which is also one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. So I feel like that's all good combos, and I'm really excited. I finished the Indian Lake trilogy in April or March, sometime this year. Whenever it came out, I finished it. And whenever that last book came out, I finished it. And I've been wanting to read more of his backlist, and so I'm looking forward to this one too. Okay, and then we've got 2 big maybes. I'm currently really slowly rereading The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, which is my favorite fantasy series ever. And I'm doing it real slow, just kind of in between all the other things that I'm reading. I'm really trying to savor it. If I finish The City of Brass, I will pick up Kingdom of Copper, which is right here. So I will pick up this one. But who knows? I don't know how quickly I will read City of Brass. I don't know how long it will take me, but that series is just on my radar for the next several months, probably through the summer. I'm also going to try and, I've already read The River of Silver, which is a collection of short stories set in the Daevabad world, and I'm going to be attempting to read the corresponding short stories in between all the books. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole event. And then I'm also currently reading the second book in the Inheritance Games series. You think I'd remember what it's called. The Hawthorne Legacy. So, and I am just eating up this series. It's so fun. If I get the audiobook for the third book in the month of June, I will listen to that as well. But I'm mainly doing audio for these. And there's a long wait time on the audiobooks at my library. So those are my two maybes. Now we're going to talk about the TBR jar. So I only read 2 of my TBR books for May, and I have still not read The Affair of the Mysterious Letter by Alexis Hall. I started it, I read maybe 25 pages, and I'm just not vibing with it. I don't know. There's something about the writing style that's just not clicking. So I'm going to be rolling this book over into June and giving it kind of an extra month. I guess if I'm still not into it by the end of June, I'll unhaul it, because clearly I'm not as interested in this book as I maybe thought I was going to be when I bought it, but I am rolling this one over. This is a fantasy Sherlock Holmes style of writing, so it's definitely got a more like historical Sir Arthur Conan Doyle style of writing to it. I believe it's going to be queer, because I think Alexis Hall only writes queer books, which is great. And I don't know, it's just something about the writing style isn't clicking. Oh no, it got ripped. Okay, just pretend that didn't happen. Anyways, so this is getting rolled over. And now we're gonna pick my 3. I'm not in front of my bookshelf today because the weather's been really cloudy and overcast and gross, and the living room just does not get good light when it's like that. We have a really beautiful tree in our front yard, and it's beautiful during the summer. I love the shade, but it makes the living room really dark. So here for better light, which means I'm gonna have to run to go grab my books as I draw. All right, let's see. I feel like last month's books weren't great, so let's hope I get a better selection, a higher rating selection this month. You'll see why in my May wrap up. But book 1 is Hurricane Lizards and Plastic Squids. Here it is. I'm going to be honest, I almost unhauled this in my last unhaul, which I'll link down below if you want to see it. But this is nonfiction about the fraught and fascinating biology of climate change. Again, something that I'm kind of intimidated by, because I know it's going to be a little bit more stressful. It's going to cause me a lot of angst, but I find science writing to be so interesting, and some of my favorite nonfiction books are science nonfiction, so I do want to read this. And I think the audiobook is fairly available through my library system, because this author came and spoke at the university in my town last year. And so, of course, our library had a ton of copies. And that's actually how I got this one, is because after an author comes and talks, you know, they buy a bunch of copies of the book so that everybody who wants to have access to a book can have access to a book. And then after the author leaves, they kind of cull the shelves and put out the extras for free outside the library, and that's how I snagged this. So I think the audiobook will be readily available, and it'll be good to read some more science nonfiction. I don't feel like I really sold that statement. I needed more conviction in my delivery. All right, now let's do book number 2. Ooh, let's do White. I think White is a newer book. It is. Can you see this? This is so tiny. God Killer. All right, this is from my shelf where ARCs go to die. So that's nice to rescue something off of that shelf. I was so hyped for this book, and then I have not seen great reviews for it. But I have the ARC, obviously. I also have the audiobook because it was an ALC from Libro FM. And so we're just gonna, fingers crossed that I am in the minority and I end up loving it. And Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous. I don't even remember what this is about. And I'm not going to look because I have become that person who does not read synopses before I read the book. All right, and then we're going to pick our final one. Yellow. Okay. Do we feel good about yellow? I don't know if I feel good about yellow. Oh, I feel good about yellow. Book number 3 is His Highland Queen. I am so excited to read this book. So here it is. This is by Dahlia Rose. This is an indie published romance set in Scottish. It's historical. And it's a marriage of convenience, I believe. But I love this cover. I love that it's, you know, a woman of color in historical Scotland, because people of color have existed in all parts of the world for all of human history. It's by a Black author. I have been so excited to read this book. So I'm really glad that this is the book that I pulled. And I think that will be a really good mix of books. I mean, we have 3 different genres represented. These are all going to be very different from each other, which is my favorite mix of books to get out of the TBR jar. And then of course we'll be pulling The Affair of the Mysterious Letter. We'll be rolling over as well, so I'll have technically 4 TBR books to read this month, but that's okay. That's fine. We are going on vacation this month, so I don't know that I'll have more time to read, because vacation with 3 children doesn't mean vacation. It means a trip while we do all the activities. But I'm really excited about this little TBR that I have for the month of June, and I think it'll be a good time. So if you are also a planner and you like to have a TBR, tell me what you are excited to read in the month of June, what you're looking forward to reading. And if you want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, let's do a rose emoji, and like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye!